Welcome back on Demo. Today I want to propose you the unboxing and review about the White Dwarf May 2019 released by the Games Workshop. This is a particular White Dwarf because it introduced quite a lot of interesting things and some spoilers that I'll talk about inside the review itself. So now we can start seeing the cover itself, that it's quite nice and it's about the narrative. And it's really great design, I think. So it's an anticipation of the rules that are inside. There is a complete index, a sort of mini codex about the ENG, and this has been previewed in the previous White Dwarf about the presence of such insert here. So you can find in this way that has been that it's been programmed, so you can find here, and our official rules to play. And wrapping the White Dwarf itself, there was this one that it's really quite interesting, and it's about the funky pop releasing that we anticipated previously, but now we can find that they are available and you can order these, and they are quite nice. Sincerely, I am trying to resist about buying this one because it's really amazing. And I'm trying because I'm not a fan of the Funko Pops, but this one I really like a lot. Eventually write in the comments if you want to make me recede by the buying of such Funko Pop, or if you want to convince me to buy it, so that we have a bit of discussion about such a thing. Anyway, it's really a nice one. So now we can start to see the inside of this White Dwarf itself. Here we can find the theme of the White Dwarf, and here the anticipation of what we'll find inside here with the introduction, and it's really quite interesting. Here the alternative image of the White Dwarfs, because you want to remember, if you buy through the Games Workshop, you can and make arrive directly the order. You can have this cover. Sincerely, this time I prefer this one anyway. So see you if you prefer to try to order through the Games Workshop, making the subscription, so take note about such distinction anyway. And here we can see the contents inside the White Dwarf that are quite a lot. And we can flip, we can find about the subscription and a better detail of the alternative image. Sincerely, this time I prefer the other one, but I like the image that it's free from the different lighting and so on. Sincerely, I really like a lot of that way. Then we can flip, we can find this about the mail to the White Dwarf, and there are really quite interesting things about the colors and so on. It's quite interesting to read. Then we can flip, and we can find this, and here we can find the readers models, and here we have a lot to see, because there are a lot of modifications of painting and so on that can be really quite interesting to use for your own usage. And I really like this repulsor, for example, because it gives a lot of different suggestions and so on. Eventually, anyway, soon I'll bring you the review about how to magnetize this, that is the repulsor. I haven't finished that, so it's not ready to bring on the channel, but soon I'll bring also such video. So if you are interested, soon you receive such in the next months. You receive also such option about my ways. And we can flip, we can find this, that it's about the article about the words of Ramas, that this time it's written by Nick North, that is one of the authors and developers of the background of Age of Sigmar. And it's quite interesting because it gives a lot of spoilers. In fact, it describes the concept behind the BC of a city and so on, and how to develop such options. But moreover, there is also another options that you have to understand about such one, and it's that inside this article it has written also the anticipation about the forbidden power and the meaning of its end spells. So there are a lot of spoilers about what is inside this one, so it's really great and a lot of spoilers. Moreover, there are quite a lot of information about that the background of the Forbidden Power, that it's the next campaign that it follow Malign Sorcery. It will be revolved about the Anvils of Eldenhammer, so the army that I'm trying to develop about the Stormcast Eternals. So in some way, this time I'm quite lucky, because soon I'll have a developing of the type of army that I want to develop. So I'll know before to start to paint all the army if it will survive or not. But anyway, it's really great as thing. And about another presence that soon will be part of the theme of Nagash, because at least the first part of the campaign about the Forbidden Powers, it will revolve about the freedom of an ally of Nagash, of an ancient ally. And if you go to see the Mortex that are going to miss from the sphere of Nagash, the only ones that are missing are Krell, but Krell is yet to revive, but it's something that it's Nagash that doesn't want to revive now. Harkon and Vlad, that we can find that they are really quite interesting, but Vlad and Harkon I don't consider quite a lot an ally. It was a sort of substitute for and eventually other Mortax in the past. And Vlad, without Isabella, will not surely eat Nagash, so I don't think that it's about such characters. The only characters that are missing, and it corresponds to the description inside here, it's the Nameless. And I think that it will be really great. Moreover, because there has been in the anticipations about the Warhammer community, and we can find here the anticipation about, you can find that there are a lot of options that suggest that it will be the Nameless, but anyway, we had to see. Moreover, because in the Warhammer community, with the Warhammer Fest 2019, has been anticipated that all the great allegiances will have a new Battletome, completely new Battletome to add to their ones. And about Death, so it has to be another one, because Legends Nagash is too recent to receive an update, and anyway it will be not a new Battletome but a remaking of one. Nighthound has been even more recent. The Flesh Eater Curse has been completely renewed quite soon, because I have even made a lot of videos about. You can find in the link eventually in the description about all the part about the Flesh Eater Curse and the Legends of Nagash. Anyway, about such things, you have to understand that in missing one, so we can find another complete new faction, and it's quite probable that the Nameless will be it that will be guide this faction. Otherwise, they will have to invent another new character. So anyway, it will be really quite interesting about such a thing. And after all the previous spoiler, now we can find something that it's related to something just released, that are the new models about Chaos against the classic Necrons. Necrons that I'm developing, as you can see, with my own schemes, and it's really quite nice. Soon I'll bring you also some videos about such things, so not worry about it. And here we can continue. And here we can find the part about Archon. So the miniature about Archon, its background, its model, how and why it has been released in such a way, the historical view of the model of Archon, and here the comparison against Guilliman. And as I said in other videos, it's has been released Abaddon, sorry, in the way that it's specular in some way to Guilliman, so it's really quite interesting. Here we can see parts of the model, so it's really quite amazing one. Here we can find the fiction about Warhammer 40k. It's really nice to read. I suggest you to give a write about it. And here we can see the index Xenos about the Inari that I talked about at the beginning. Here it's a complete index, a complete codex with the background, with the description, with all the rules that you can find really soon. So the description of the different units, the timeline, you can see here the abilities and so on, the rules, as I said, with the points. So everything is inside. We had the stratagem, we had the valor traits, we had everything. So here it's a complete one to buy, because soon I think that it will be released, but I think that we'll need to wait the Chapter Pro 2019 or the release of a codex about this, but I think that we'll have to wait a bit after this one. We can find also the scheme of colors of the followers of Inari, so we can find a different ways to paint and so on. It's really quite nice, I think, to have some suggestions. Here we have the painting that it's related about the Inari, and I think that they are not bad, because they are about how to paint the red armor, the black armor and so on. So there are a lot of different suggestions that I think they can be really quite useful for the ones that want to paint some type of colors on. So it's quite good. Here we can see also other colors that we can find to paint. So this time even this horn, how to realize such type of horn, that I find it really quite interesting. So they are really quite awesome, this painting, to have a site about how to paint certain type of things. And here about how to keep bash your primary Space Marines. Here it's really nice as it's described, and I want to remember you that I'll bring you soon also by myself about how to magnetize and so on the different models about these ones, the primary Space Marines, because these require a bit different ones compared to the one that I had yet realized a video about magnetizing the Terminators and the Space Marines. You can find the link in the description about these videos. And here we can have a lot of different suggestions, a lot of different ways to modify in the way to have, for example, your different teams and so on for the Death Watch or other models. I think that they are really quite interesting in such a way, because they give you really how with really few modifying you can realize a lot of different options for the models. Here we have also for the Blood Angels a really nice way to have the Inceptors that are a mix comparing the Sanguinary Guard and the Inceptors, normal Inceptors, and I'll make you have a guide about how to magnetize also these ones, because you can have this, that it's a quite a nice model. So eventually you have also this one, it's completely magnetized, so I'll make you see also about this one, how to magnetize it. Here we have this that is described as a Corbulo in Primaris armor, but the position is completely different, so it's not at all compared to the Corbulo position, so not worry about such thing, it's not good. But anyway, I like how it has been positioned, the model itself, so it's really great in that way. And here we can see how little different positioning can create a lot of different options. Also here you can find these that recreate this imaging, so you have a lot of options that you can have, and the Primary Space Marine armors, it's big enough to allow you better modification than the normal Marines, so I think that they are really quite nice. Here we can flip and we can find the talking about Matt Hudson and it's working at the Games Workshop, and I find that it's quite interesting article to understand it's working for the Games Workshop itself and the armies collected by Matt Hudson himself. So we can find also different modifications in different things. Inside here I think that there are quite a lot of options that are interesting. And now we can talk about here that it's also this one, an anticipation about Forbidden Powers, because it's related about the Envies of Endenhammer and the Night Hunt, that it's the army that Nagash sent to invade the Stone Vault of them. So it's really quite interesting, and it's all written inside here, this White Dwarf itself. Here we can find the rules of engagement, and here it's about how to use the reserves, so how to use the evocations and so on, and how it will be developed. Here it anticipates a bit the fact that soon it will be released also the new General Handbook 2019, so maybe it will change something, but I think that it will be follow a lot this type of things, so I think that it's quite interesting, this article. Here we can find about the realm of shadow, and here I like a lot this article because usually I use from the Marine Sorcery a lot of options that comes from Ulgu, that it's the realm of shadow. So it's really quite interesting to have the different scheme of colors, the different suggestions. Here we can find some little modifying about the options of playing in Ulgu, some type of scheme of colors that can be interesting. So it's really quite interesting also the personalization about the different end spells and so on. So I think that it's quite interesting as an article. And here the fiction about Age of Sigmar. Before we've seen the part about the Warhammer 40k, now about Age of Sigmar. And I think that it's really quite interesting. And this one, it's mainly related about the battle report that we are going to see now. Because it's related about the Dark Elves, we can call it, about the ones that are the Doctors of Cains, and the First Layers. With a participation, this is a new battle plan, of some, we can see 3 ones that we can find inside that are the Wild Trogdor, that are 3 monsters that are going to mess inside this battle report. I find it really quite interesting one. Here we can find the different armies. I really like their paintings, they can be really a good suggestion about. And we can find this battle report, and I find it really not bad at all. I find that it can be really quite interesting how to play different battle plans and so on, and integrate in your ways to play. So I find it really quite amazing. Here we can continue, and we can find here this article about the Underworld and its plane. So in this case about a Night Vault, and some suggestion how to play. Sincerely, I don't play such a game, but I find it quite interesting for the ones that want to play such a game. So take note about this. And here we have new rules about the Blackstone Fortress. So we can find a lot of different options that can be added to your playing about such game. And here we have another amazing thing. It's about Middle Earth, but I like the modifications that has been brought. So we can find a lot of different suggestions how to personalize your army, and I find it really great because it can make you understand how, starting from little models, you can have really great results with only a few add-in, only a few things modified. So take note about such options because you can apply also to your army, not only to the Middle Earth. So this is a sort of conversion about the models. I find them really quite good. And here we have the rules about the Necromunda. So new rules that can be really quite interesting ones, and I find them useful for the ones that want to play with Necromunda ones. We have a new battle plan about Necromunda, so there are a lot of things. And here we can find about Black Library, and something that is related about the new campaign of the Black Library, that it's about the Siege of Terra, and this is a fiction about it, so it can be really quite interesting in this way, because there is quite a lot of information that can be useful for your playing. And here we have another fiction that instead it's about the Warhammer horrors, so a complete different ways, and it's a short story, but it's really quite nice, and it's a thing that make you understand if you can be interested in the releasing about the Black Library of the new books that treat the novels using the horror stories, so it can be really quite interesting in such a way. And then we have inside the studio with some anticipation of the next releasing models that we will see soon, so it can be really quite interesting in such a way. And then we have the conclusion with this, that it's anticipation of the releasing about the next month White Dwarf. And this, now we can understand that it means that in the next White Dwarf there will be the release about a particular type of First Layers, so maybe we'll see new War Scroll battalions and so on that we'll be able to use and testing and so on. So, and the background about such part of the army of First Layers. So I think that it's really quite interesting, and I repeat, we can treat this for Age of Sigmar, like a sort of indexes about Warhammer 40k, and are related about the different options that you can find for the different armies. So it's really quite interesting in such a way. So what to say about such White Dwarf? I think that it's really quite interesting, has a lot of things. For the ones that are interested about the spoilers for the next campaign, I think that it's quite amazing, because it gives a lot of information, a lot of inspiration about blowing up imagination of what will happen and so on, what will be this character and so on. There are a lot of options about painting and modifying that I think that really are great, and I suggest to see. And there are also a lot of fiction, a lot of writings and so on that can really quite be interesting. Also, the battle report can be interesting as a different way to play for Age of Sigmar. There are a lot of things, so even if it's not a spectacular one as White Dwarf, I think that it's worth the buying. Also for the ones that are going to play Inari, because inside here there is the new index about the Inari. So a lot of different options that make me suggest you to buy such White Dwarf. Anyway, it's up to you, because it has be to see if you are interested about it. Anyway, I think that it's a good thing. So, from Dino Mode, it's everything. I invite you to put a like on this video, to subscribe to the channel, to ring the bell, and to comment this video if you are interested in something about this video, or you want to suggest me some arguments for other videos. I hope to see you again to the next time.